won't be able to come on today, and I've been trying to get here all week, but I'm here, and I appreciate you tuning in. Whenever you're watching this, I want to say I appreciate you. So I'm going to give a brief update on my journey to Albania, also Istanbul, and my, my look into Freemasonry from abroad. Because I know a lot of times many of us look at Masonry just from an American standpoint. We only see it from where we're at, and that's okay. But there are many different vantage points within the confines of Freemasonry. There are many. And this is what I want to share with you if you're ever considering or thinking about visiting overseas. Whatever that may look like. First, I want to say that if your Grand Lodge has affinity, you probably already know this, with other Masonic bodies, give them a call. Let them know that you are going to be in the area that you would like to visit. And upon that request, VA to the secretary or whomever may be in charge at the time, and they would tell you, yes, you can visit because our Masonic bodies have affinity. That's great. However, on the outside of that, you're going to come across many Masons within that community. And they're not going to be concerned with whether you are Modern Free International, Prince Hall, Ancient Free, Free Accepted, PHO, PHA. They are not concerned with that dogma. They are not concerned about what Masonic jurisdiction you're a part of. They're concerned more so with the practice of Freemasonry. Do you uphold the practice of Freemasonry? Are you who you claim to be? Can you identify? Can you prove who you are? In that ritual, that's what I found in my visit. And then what I've come to realize for those brothers who are in the military, be it whatever branch you may be part of, and when they come back from deployment or wherever they may have been, and whatever boat or ship they may be on, as far as an aircraft carrier or a frigate, whatever they may be on, their perspective of Masonry is totally different than yours. And I share that because I know I have quite a few military brothers, and the way they see Masonry versus the way others see it is differently. Even those who are in the PHA family, and me speaking with them in regards to what do they think in regards to Freemasonry outside of the United States versus where they've been, and it's totally different. There are some Masons that I know of who are PHA, and when they come back to the States, particularly here in San Diego, they don't even link up with the lodge. They don't even link up with the lodge. And I've talked to quite a few of them, being that San Diego, California period is a lot of military. So when you come across individuals who have journeyed outside of the United States and who have gone through the process, and when their view of Masonry is totally different than most, they are. And that is unique in a sense, because when they come back to the States, they don't even link up with brothers in their own Masonic jurisdiction. This is what I've found. It may be different where you're at, but this is what I've seen. This is the contact that I've had. So my experience as far as international travel is I see why they do what they do. I see it for myself, and I can view it for myself. And seeing it and viewing it, it's like, wow, okay, I get it now. I'm going to say something regarding my imperial potentate, who former Navy, just retired a few years back. He often told me that when individuals get on the boat, ship, he hates for me to say boat, when they get on the ship and they go on deployment, he's informed me that there is a separate how would you put it? There's a separate email account from various sellers. If you are a Mason, they're going to know if you're a Mason on that ship. And what they do is they separate the person who are not versus the person who are, and they have study sessions on the ship. And it doesn't really matter what jurisdiction you're in, because when you are deployed 6 months and they know that you're a Mason, it's a whole nother atmosphere. Now, this is what he's told me. Now, he's a former chief in the military, and his travels is taking him all around the world. So in my communication with him and talking with him, it's like, really? And he said, yeah, this is how we do it. Because most guys that are in the Navy, a lot of them are Masons, and a lot of them get initiated overseas. So their perspective is different. And I can, like I said, I can totally see why. Based upon my own international travel, talking with various Masons and Grand Masters on my visit to Albania, it's a beautiful thing. And for us who are here in the States, and especially those of us who are part of the African American diaspora who are Masons, we should tamper down a little bit. We should really tamper down a little bit, because the way you practice Masonry and see Masonry is not seen like that abroad. It is not like that abroad. You may say, well, you know what, Brother Tony, you know, we do this and do that. Yeah, but when you leave these states and you go someplace else, you're going to see something different. And it's not wrong. It is not wrong. You can say whatever you want to say about how you do it here, but when you go someplace else and see something different, it is not wrong at all. That is the way they practice it. This is the way they do it. And you have no rights or give say so of how they do it or how they even transpire. So, you know, just want to put that out there so you can really take a look at that. You know, Air Force is the same way. I was raised in Turkey. Greetings. Don't need to take it down, brother. Let it ride. Put it up. You know, your message is okay. If you got a comment you want to make the comment. You won't get that kickback here. I'm not here trying to point fingers or say one jurisdiction is better than the other. I'm just trying to tell any person, anybody who's a Mason, who's looking to become a Mason, I just want you to enjoy the journey. That's all I want for any Masons, to enjoy the journey. If you have the opportunity to travel internationally as a Mason, do it. Do it. Air Force the same way. Sorry, brother. That was a mistake. Okay, no problem. Absolutely. I want you to be able to say, I'm a Mason and I'm going to whatever country you're going to and visit and fellowship. I'm telling you, you're going to see some different things. And it's not going to be the same opening ceremonies that you do here in the States. Whether you have a Duncan's or a Leicester look to the east, or you may have your own Masonic ritual. Now, there are things that are going to be similar so you can recognize what's actually taking place, but it's not going to be the same. It is not going to be the same. They're going to have different names for different positions within the lodge. Like one lodge I visit, they have what you call an orator. We don't have, in the jurisdiction I practice, we don't have an orator, but they have an orator. In the position of the orator, he can move about the lodge. It doesn't even matter. He can walk in front of the wishful master and senior ward. He can move freely about the lodge. Here in the States, it's a little different. You have a junior deacon and a senior deacon. One takes care of the wishful master, one takes care of the senior warden. You have a junior steward and a senior steward, which is guided by the junior warden. His job is to tell the junior stewards what to do as far as taking messages to the west or to the east and doing some other stuff within the lodge. But that is the difference, you know? Greetings. Okay. I am the Deputy Grand Master for the Most Wishful Prince Hall Grand Lodge, Louisiana and Texas. Greetings to you. Hope all is well with you and yours. Greetings to your Grand Master. You know, but this is the thing we should really start to consider and see in Masonry, that is definitely not the same. You who have the ability and have your passport and can travel outside of the country, I'm encouraging you to do that. I'm encouraging you to make contact and to go and to see for yourself Masonry at its finest outside of the borders of the United States. I'm saying if you got a passport and your Grand Lodge have amenity with other Masonic bodies outside of the States, please go for yourself. please go see for yourself and enjoy the fellowship for yourself. There are things I got coming up on my calendar. Man, I'm like I said before, I'm getting all I can out of this. I'm gonna go and visit every place I'm able to go and visit. I'm not gonna be that Mason who says that I'm a Mason and you never travel to foreign countries. I'm not gonna be that guy. The reason being is because I want to enjoy the craft. And I believe that every Mason that comes along should enjoy the craft. You should do that. There's a brother I used to talk to quite often. He was in the military, but I believe he's retired. He's part of the Prince Hall Grand Lodge out of Florida, Union Grand Lodge. And he and I talked often, and I can't recall his name right now. And he used to always tell me about his visits and the things that he was doing while he was overseas. And I think he was working security. He did some high profile security overseas, not getting too much into what he actually did. But he would tell me, Brother Tony, you know what, man, it is totally different over here than the way it is in the States. It's different. And I just want to encourage you to understand that it's different, you know, because what happens is so many times we get caught up in what we think is Freemasonry and really not knowing what's actually is happening as a Mason. And the difference is, one who's a Freemason is free to travel. One who thinks or betrays or believes, he doesn't get out. You know, he may be initiated, he may be passed and raised, but he doesn't get out. He doesn't see for himself. He doesn't experience for himself the essence of being a Mason. He may have heard someone talk about it. He may have even gone to visit lodges within his own jurisdiction, be in another state or whatever that may look like. But the international visiting part, no. He may just say, nah, man, I'm good. And it's okay. But as I tell any new into apprentice, fellowcraft, or master Mason, man, why did you join it? If you join Masonry just to say you're part of some organization or another and really not experience it in its totality, then you're missing a lot of Freemasonry. You're missing a lot of what Masonry has to offer and will offer you. You're missing because there are a lot of people within Masonry on an international level, brother. Once you go and visit them, you're going to want to go back, because the true essence of what Masonry is what they display. They display that. This is my own experience. They display it, and they don't get into the who's who part. What they get into is, are you serious about being a Mason? That's what they get into. They get into the fact of there may be some Q&A, but the wording may be a little different, but they want to know. They want to know. And the grip is a little different too. They don't grip you like we grip here in the States. You know, when you meet another Masons here in the States, you know, you grip 1, 2, and 3. You know, they don't grip like that. Not at all. You know, and that is what really got me, because even though I have been down to Mexico, even though I have visited Hispanic lodges and I see how they operate, I see what they do. Even with that additional understanding, it still is the viewpoint is still different. It is still a different viewpoint. And that is what I enjoy about Masonry. Very true in Japan and the Philippines. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I think I mentioned a few weeks ago that I have a brother. He's from the Grand Lodge out of the Philippines. And he told me, he said, man, it's because of you I became a Mason. I went back to the Philippines. I went back home and was initiated, passed, and raised. And he told me, I thank you. And every day I see this brother, he hits me up. He hits me. Man, he's throwing all sorts of signs at me when I see him. And that's a beautiful thing. When you're able to assist the brother along his journey. I mean, he didn't care if I was a member of John G. Jones Grand Lodge of California, Ancient, Free, and Accepted Mason. He gave a rat's booty hole about that. But what he cared about it, that I displayed the tenets of Masonry, that I was sincere about who I am and what I'm about. And brothers will bring you back nice tokens of appreciations when they know how sincere you are. And I can honestly say that based upon my recent visit, based upon the brother past Grandmaster Franco, well, sitting Grandmaster Franco from Canada, when he came to my lodge and brought tokens of appreciation that he shared with the lodge. Those are beautiful things, man. When you can have someone from another jurisdiction, a foreign jurisdiction, to come visit your lodge, and when you can go there, the exchange and gratitude is beautiful. It is totally beautiful. From my experience in the military, more stricter. We are taught to come in and working in brotherly love. Totally different perspective are taught in the absolutely. It is that because in the military, you may find yourself anywhere, any place. And from what I understand and from what I know, based upon those who are in my jurisdiction who are military, there are some places when you dock, they tell you no Masonic wear. No, this country here, there's no Masonic wear. They didn't say that a lodge wasn't there. They said no Masonic wear. So if you truly about your business, you'll be able to find a Mason. You'll spot one. But I tell you, there's no Masonic wear. You can't wear the Masonic jewelry in some of these countries. You can't let them know that you are a Mason. That's a fact. That ain't something that I'm making up. If you are in the military, you know for yourself, there are some countries that do not care for Masons. But even though Masons may be in that country, and you're not going to be able to find their their Masonic hall. You know, it doesn't have the big emblem on it. It may be something real tiny and discreet. As a matter of fact, I've learned here recently that I was talking with some brothers and I saw it on their lapel pin. They had the 4-leaf clover. The 4-leaf clover is a Masonic emblem from way back. I'm not going to go into details with it, but if some of you may know, the 4-leaf clover is a Masonic emblem in some places and spaces. Absolutely. But you got to be able to identify where you're at. And if you don't know, now you know. There are some emblems I was watching that some brothers had on that I hadn't seen. But because of in their country and where they're at, this is the emblem that they wear to identify who's a Mason and who's not. Plain and simple. And that's the joy, man. If you came into Freemasonry and you're dealing with a lot of BS, that's not Masonry. It's not. If you're in Masonry right now and you're finding yourself dealing with a lot of craziness, I don't care what jurisdiction you're in, I keep saying that, that's not Masonry. It's not. Masonry is when you're able to trust a brother, when you're able to really sincerely have a conversation with a brother, when you're able to and sincerely, truly about the works. And when I say the works, that means what's in your heart. Are you looking out for that brother's best interest? Are you really concerned about him being successful in whatever he does? Are you truly interested in the betterment of that brother's family and how he's living his life? Are you? Or are you saying it's okay? Yeah, you drunk tonight. That's okay, bro. Get loaded. No, it's not okay. It is not okay. You know, and sometimes we are afraid to pull the brother's coattail to tell him, hey, look, bro, come on, tap her back a little bit. You're doing a little too much. Sometimes some of us are afraid. Hey, bro, you know, show a little bit more respect towards that man. He ain't did nothing wrong to you. Why you flossing like that? Some of us are afraid to tell other Masons that because you think you're going to be out of the circle. You already out of the circle. You already out of the circle. And like the brother just posted, absolutely, harmony should be always prevail. Harmony should always prevail. I can agree to disagree. Now let's go have a beer. Let's go get something to eat. Let's fellowship. Yeah, I don't agree with you on this or that, you know, but I'm not going to take it so much to heart that I'm going to destroy a relationship I'm trying to build on. I'm not going to do that. But I do know that quite a few of us do that. You know, if it ain't my way, it's not right. If it ain't the way my Grand Lodge doing it, it ain't right. If it ain't done this way, it's not right. And who's to say that? Who's to say that? Because I would tell you this, in some Masonic lodges, there is no altar. I'm going to say this again. In some Masonic lodges, there is no altar. The floor is open. The floor is open. What you may think is an altar is way up in the east. It's up in the east. And what you think you may see on the altar is not what you're going to see here in the States. You're not going to see it. You know, you may see a book, a sword or a sword. You may see a skull, candles, and some other items on that altar. But it's in the east. It's all the way up to the east. The floor is open with 3 tall candles holders. You know, so don't get it twisted. Don't think that you got it all locked down because of the way your lodge does it. When you get outside of that, man, it's going to be different. What's up now? It's going to be different. And that is the thing that you should see. That is the thing you should try to understand and really get into. That's real talk. But some of you get so caught up and fixated on your own jurisdiction until you miss the essence of Masonry. Like I would even use myself. You know, when I first got into Masonry, yeah, I'm a member of John G. Jones. I'm a John G. Jones Mason. Ain't no such thing as a John G. Jones Mason. There's no such thing as a Prince Hall Mason, modern, free, international, or even a mainstream. Those titles and names that have been given to us to identify our Masonic jurisdictions, in my eyes, are incorrect. They are totally fixated on an American thing. It's an American jurisdictional thing. And it's cool as far as you trying to tell someone what Grand Lodge you're a part of. That's great. But I'm a Mason, period. Whether you accept me or not. And do I really care? I don't. But I'm a Mason. By the rites and ceremonies of the Grand Lodge, for which which gave me that right and privilege, I'm a Mason. And I believe, and I can see that most Masons don't understand that. And I know that a lot of us like to put our Masonic Grand Lodge on our regalia that we wear, on our jackets and all that. That's cool. I have a jacket that has Ancient, Free, and Accepted Masons on it. John G. I have a jacket like that. But what I've learned, what I'm seeing, what I've come across is the journey itself is not about your Grand Lodge. The journey itself is not about your lodge. It's all about you who are Masons, period. Nothing more, nothing less. Yes, there are politics in your Masonic jurisdiction. Yes, it is. But you as an individual, you should try to, if not, enjoy everything that Freemasonry has to offer. And if, like I said, if you ever have the chance to go visit other Masonic bodies outside of your own Congress, outside of your own conference of Grand Lodges, do it. And I'm gonna share this with you. As quiet as it's kept, there are brothers that are in Masonry that has had the privilege of visiting lodges that they have no affinity with. And you may say, well, how is that? Man, you have no idea what happens a lot of times. The relationships that have been built with other brothers. And when you go to their city, their town, or wherever it may be at, hey, man, I got a lodge meeting going on tonight. Come on through. Brother, no, I can't. No, I got you, bro. Come on through. And let me tell you, when you come through and they tell you to come on in, brother, it's good to go. You can say whatever you want to say. That's including modern, free, international, PHA, John. Brother, I'm telling you, there are things that are happening on the back end that you have no idea. It may not happen in your lodge. I'm just saying that it happens. And I'm going to tell you a prime example. My past Grand Master, Michael P. McCauley, bless his soul, he's gone home. He went to see his nephew get raised in Detroit. He knocked on the door. They came to the door. They asked who was it? He gave him his name. They said, okay. They came out. They sent the title out to Q&A him. He did his thing. They invited him to come in. I'm going to say this again. They invited him to come in because his nephew was being raised. Although they didn't too much like it. Nah, they didn't like it. No, they didn't. But because his nephew was like, hey, I'm being raised, I want to invite my uncle to come through He's part of a different jurisdiction. He's HE free and accepted Mason. He was like, no, bro. He's like, well, I ain't going through it. I'm done. And it was the same day of the raising. And they told him, come on in. Now, here's the kick part. They brought him on in. He went on up east. And it was like, oh, okay. And they had conversations. Of course, there was some tension. Yes, there was tension. There's tension because we don't understand the beauty of Freemasonry, because we're so hell-bent on our protocols and procedures and this and that until we miss the beauty of Freemasonry. There was an opportunity right there that was missed. They missed a prime opportunity to really benefit from someone else being there other than their own. And this is what happens a lot of times when brothers come and visit from other Masonic jurisdictions. There's a position of missing the essence of Masonry. That's what really happens. And man, I just shake my head at it now. This is why I say it, and I say it until I can't say it no more. Always go where you accept it and respect it and appreciate it. Man, go. Have a ball. You don't have time to waste and debate people like I once did on a lot of stuff that doesn't make any sense when you already know. I used to get up and down, this and that. But then as I began to grow and I saw it, I was like, oh, okay. That conversation I don't need to have. I'm past that conversation. I'm beyond that conversation. And when you get there, you're going to know you're there. You're going to know you have arrived when you get there, because you're going to be like, oh, I got it now. I got it. People used to always tell me all the time, man, you can't travel. In my younger days, as you can't do this and you can't do that, and who's going to recognize you? But as I began to really indulge myself in Masonry and find out what Masonic amity do we have with other Masonic jurisdiction, man, I was all over the map. Man, I started going all over the place, within the states. And then when I got my passport and I started going outside, what you gonna tell me now? What you gonna tell me now? So once time you said I couldn't. Now that I'm doing it, what you gonna say now? Oh, well, he's visiting other clandestine bodies. According to who? And that's the beauty of Masonry. It's universal, brother. Everywhere you go, there's a possibility, at least an 80% chance that you're going to find a Mason. Everywhere you go, there's an 80% chance that you're going to find a Mason. And the thing is that to my young brothers of the craft, I'm speaking to you now, those who are new to the craft. I'm talking about you've been in the craft for about maybe 1 to 5 years, right? You're still new. To you new enter apprentices and you new fellow crafts, I'm telling you that you should enjoy Masonry. I'm telling you that when you come across a brother that is not recognized by your Masonic jurisdiction, I'm telling you to show some respect towards that person. That's what I'm saying. Hawkins. Yes. Okay, put it in the system and somebody will grab it. At what time? At what? Okay, well, I'll check it out because I'm at lunch right now. I'll be right back in a minute. Okay, bye-bye. Yeah, so, that's the thing we got to really consider. Pardon me for a minute. I'm at lunch, but I'm still working. I'm still working, So, are you black? You can see me, so I don't have to answer that question. I denounced Freemasonry and gave my life to Christ. That's great. I'll be speaking at church on tomorrow. So I'm glad that you have done that. Freemasonry is not a religion. So what you denounce? I would like to know. What did you denounce? I mean, Freemasonry is not a religion. So how can you denounce anything that has nothing to do with your religion? Really, it doesn't, because as a Mason, and you said you denounced it, you should know that it's not about your religion when you become a Mason. You should know that. But most people don't indulge themselves in Freemasonry to understand that. It's the ignorance of those who come into Freemasonry, and then I denounced it. What did you denounce? I go to a Presbyterian church. You know what Presbyterian means, right? You know when it was founded, right? It's not Baptist. It's not missionary Baptist. It's a majority white denomination. Go figure that out, right? And I'm speaking at church on tomorrow. So come on, you got to do better than that. Talking about you denounced it. You know, oh, it was demonic. In what way? You know, I had wish for master. Look up the word wish for master and see what the word means. See, a lot of you don't understand the words that you say when you are doing these rites and ceremonies. You just say them because somebody's telling you to say them. And I get it because I did it. But once I did it, I had to, for my own self, to go back and identify, okay, so what did I really say? Let's just be honest. And then when you come across it and you recognize it and you get it, it's a different thing, man. It's different, you know. That's the thing. So this is what we have to figure out. This is what we have to do. So look, as I conclude, I want to say thank you for coming on. And if anybody, hear me clearly, if you ever want to come on this particular program and have a conversation, you can do that. I'm not going to block you. I'm not going to say anything. You are welcome to come on and have a decent conversation. Period, bar none. So look, remember this. I'm not your study guide. I'm just here to help you study. Okay? Stay out the bushes. Keep your light on. Peace and be well.